And by late night, I mean after 8:30. Hi, Aaron. I intend to move to Vegas this October from Albuquerque. I have a limited preliminary understanding of the metro and the suburbs as I've done one quick prior trip. However, this time I'll be flying in for a few days to truly evaluate where I'm going to move. Quick facts: 24, single male, entirely remote accountant, $95,000 a year. Where the good men gone? Where? Ew. And the balls on you, sir. The balls. I bet you're not 6'2". The ball. Have you no shame, sir? Hence, extreme budget rent isn't a pressing matter. Would you please list your favorite neighborhoods and suburbs and the pros and cons of them? Effectively, where would you consider moving to in the Vegas area with the firsthand knowledge that you have now? If you were soon to be 25 years old with solid savings, exceptional for my age, don't you tempt these women? Don't you be dangling that money when you're only 5'11" 3/4. Don't you dare, sir. And a decent income. Also, thank you for the life advice. I wouldn't be where I am today if I hadn't found your books back in my early college days. My parents had no direction to give. That's why we got the course, The Dad You Never Had. Book's called Worthless. The other book, How Not to Become a Millennial. Lots of books. Sincerely, will keep you anonymous. Well, I'm glad to hear. I'm glad to hear you're doing so well. And in part, it's due to some of the advice I gave back in the day. All right. I've pulled up the map. So the Southern Command is in Henderson. And I like Henderson. There's actually a downtown area to Henderson. A lot of people don't know that. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm getting ahead of myself. Gee whiz. And I said, well, tell me a little bit more about the social life you want out of moving to Vegas. Do you party a lot? Do you want to go out and socialize a lot? Do you just prefer to stay in and live quietly, live a quiet life, hiking, outdoor activities, fun things to do? And he said, I'm presuming that based on the use here, payments, this, that. Okay, here's my response. I'm moving to Vegas as it provides me with the highest average income, and I like it more than the other places that I toured. The average is in regard to weather, lack of crime, and business opportunities. I'm a tax accountant, and long-term, I have use for some of the unusual laws in Nevada regarding taxation for the eventual consulting business that I'd like to start. As such, I'm very career focused. All right, well, there you go. That's one check mark. I prefer to socialize occasionally, though I'm more inclined to stay in. Very high IQ, often bored with most events. I don't party, go to concerts, hardly drink, etc. Dude, what about the game, bro? Vegas, actually, hat tip to Vegas. They've poached, I think, 3 professional sports teams from California now. They got what? They got the Raiders. I think they got the Athletic A's are going in. And they got the Knights. They got a hockey team. Don't you want to go to the game, bro? I don't give a shit about the game or have plans to frequently attend any large-scale events. I like to hike, swim, and bike. I'd be interested. You found the place, man. I would be interested in knowing about any quality paved and or dirt mountain biking trails throughout Vegas or the surrounding area. Just Google searches, too many to go over. There's not a lot of. Okay, there is a fair amount of mountain biking, but be real careful. The terrain is really rocky. So much so that a lot of them are just, you're not going to be able to get your bike down those. I prefer to not live in a suburb community neighborhood masquerading as a senior setter. I like to date occasional, but with work, self-improvement, gym, business plans, etc. I don't go to bars or spend an abundance of time chasing women. Rather, I prefer to just ask girls out that I encounter in my day-to-day activities. Time effective. Hence, if I live somewhere where there are no 20-something women and I have to go laboriously out of my way, I'll be default null. I will be default nullifying my potential to date. Where the major traffic choke points, I hate traffic. I refuse to waste my time in traffic lines, conferences, etc., and all the other shit that normal people tolerate. I don't have to commute as I work remote, and I have never adhered to the normie schedule. Why does everyone have to go to lunch at noon and wait in line? Because they're fucking idiots. They're fucking idiots. And their bosses are fucking idiots. Hey, boss, can I go to work? Can I go get lunch at 1? Well, that's highly irregular. Look, dude, my job doesn't require it. What about a lunch at 11 or 1? Seriously. But even with that in mind, it would be better if I can avoid having to plan my day around dodging traffic. Any reference to anything fun, interesting? Okay, so Vegas, as of now, does not have really bad traffic. And I would kind of put it, I haven't spent a lot of time in Albuquerque, but neither did Albuquerque. I mean, you're not looking at LA or Chicago traffic. So generally you can avoid it. The main part you want to avoid though is the strip itself, which is Las Vegas Boulevard, and that runs north-south more or less to the east of Interstate 15, which you also want to avoid as it parallels the strip. So all the way from the airport, which is on the south end of town, downtown anyway, to the north part of the strip, which is where the downtown buildings are, or highway, now it's called Interstate 11, but it's 93, 95. There's a nasty exchange. That entire strip, Highway 15, Interstate 15, from the airport all the way up to Highway 95, 93. Don't drive on it. Just don't bother with it. It's a nightmare. You avoid that, you're pretty good. Highway 93 from downtown Vegas to the interchange in Henderson gets a little backed up, but the 215 is clear all the way around the three quarters. It makes kind of like a backwards C. No, it makes a regular C now that I look at it. They've added a lot of lanes to that. And so that's pretty good. So what I want to do, I like Henderson. It has a downtown area. And just so you know, Vegas is not geographically that big of a town, so you're not going to be going a long way to get to much of anything. But let's talk about where you absolutely don't want to go. You want to avoid pretty much the entire north quadrant of Vegas, not only because the immediate north side of Vegas is a crime-ridden shit. I don't even know. I'm sure there's crime, but it's just a bunch of homeless, freaking worthless degenerates. There's nothing going on there. There's the Nugget. That's a great bar and restaurant and casino, but there's nothing on north side Vegas. And yes, like any other place, it starts to get better the further away you get from that. But directly north of Vegas from Highway 95, you can take a look at it, over, it just turns into a big old boring suburb. You got the Air Force Base on the far northeast side of the metro. South of the Air Force Base, until you get into Henderson, that's kind of crap too. So the neighborhoods, what is this? I'm just looking at Stewart Place, State Streets, Winterwood, areas by the Boulder Casino. Yeah, it's all kind of divey. It's just shit. So you want to avoid that. South of 593. Now you're kind of in Whitney Ranch, Pittman, Henderson, Green Valley South. The way you were talking, Green Valley South, Green Valley North, Green Valley in general. That's a fair amount of younger people live there. College is adjacent to it. I've done a lot of meetup groups there, like volleyball and all that. Nice neighborhood. Not super fancy, but it's nice. You kinda wanna if you wanna avoid traffic, where I'm sure that's Eastern. I know it's Eastern, I'm just looking yeah, no, it's Green Valley Parkway. Where the hell's Eastern? There's Eastern. You wanna avoid Eastern and 215. If you stay north of 215, the traffic ain't too bad. Green Valley Ranch is okay too. But here's another thing. I don't wanna go where there's all old people. Well, good luck. A lot of old people. But Green Valley, that corridor along 215, just stay away from 215 and Eastern, and you should be all right. Uh, if you went a little bit further east, Henderson's fine, but it's not necessarily a younger area. The what is that? They don't have see. I wish they'd name these neighborhoods. Silverado Ranch. Not a lot going on there. Immediately south of 215. There's a whole stretch along Las Vegas of Boulevard south of 215 and eastward. It's not bad. There's not much there. Same thing to the west of that. Uh so yeah, pretty much south of 215. It's not until you get to the southwest area. There's the Rhodes Ranch Golf Club, golf course. That's really just a not a lot of young people. There's like 30 somethings there who are getting their first house, and it's just a shit ton of restaurants. And it's stay off of Rainbow Boulevard, stay off of that. That is crowded. You don't want to be there. Enterprise is new. Um, Younger people kind of going there, but it's just getting built up. And yeah, will you find younger people? Sure. Is there like a good bout of bars that you can go to in Enterprise? Not really. Not convenient. Like I'm trying to think of an area where 20 somethings would go that you could hang out. And Enterprise is a younger bedroom community. People getting their first homes. It's not bad, but there's not much going on there. Um, as opposed to Green Valley, whether it's South, North, or Green Valley Ranch. There's a casino. What is that? It's got a nice little shopping area. Is it the Green Valley Ranch Resort and Spa Casino? Yeah, I think that area. There's a shopping area there, and there's bars and restaurants that there's some younger people there. I've seen the young people hanging out there. So there's that. Yeah, but then Silverado Ranch. Yeah, anything kind of on straight south of Vegas isn't nothing bad, but nothing great either. South and east, yeah. Um, so we're that's kind of the east side. You want to stay out of Paradise. You don't want to stay on the strip. You want to avoid the university, mostly because of traffic, but also there's a couple. It's not the worst. See, everyone's like, "Oh my god, this place is ghetto," and I'm like, "It's blue collar." I won't mention who says that all the time, but I've had people. I'm like, "Yeah, you really you haven't been to Detroit in the '80s, have you?" There's one spot by the university where I was looking. I'm like, "What did every scumbag decide to say this is the corner we're gonna hang out at?" And then you go any corner in any direction, it gets quickly better, but not enough to live at. Um, yeah, you want to avoid pretty much, I'd say, all the way from 15 to 93 slash corridor 11, I 11. Now you get up to say it's called downtown south. Downtown is the very north part of downtown Vegas. There's the strip that runs north south, and then there's downtown Vegas where there's the building, the county offices, the federal court building, where there's the actual commercial district. It's also called Fremont Street is up in that area where all the old casinos are. There's a niche area. Um, Yeah, and even that's yeah, you wouldn't like it. There's too many hipsters and douche canoes. There's like a antique store area that's kinda kitschy, but, but there's also this downtown south area, Crestwood. It's they're nice old homes that have been yeah, Hunter Ridge Park. What is this one? Let me make sure I'm giving you the right one. There's Fremont. Yeah, I'm sorry. North of 159 and south of Fremont. There's a nice little neighborhood in there, but you're gonna be dealing with traffic just to get out of the city, so I'd kinda avoid that. Alright, so we've kinda done the entire east side. You go to the north side, there's nothing out there but old people and suburbs. You go to the northwest, where 215 intersects with Highway 95 slash Interstate 11. They must have renamed that. And this is called, what is it, Durango Hills area? Oh no, it's Durango Avenue. Yeah, there it is. Is that Durango? Let me double check. Yeah, Durango Drive. So you look at Durango Drive and Interstate 11 slash Highway 95. That area, Valley Crest, Antelope, Cimarron Springs, that's all new, and there's enough bars and restaurants and a sizable casino out there that's kinda where some young people there's a hospital out there, but you're still kinda Snoresville, um, with with socialization. You go south of that, going latitudinally, Ann Road, what's this one? Lone Mountain Road, that's just a big ol' suburb. Um Then if you drop south of that, you go south of Cheyenne, you're in Summerlin. That's they're fighting anthem for the snooty, snooty, snoot, snoot of all of the Vegas Valley. It's wealthy people, not a lot of young people. I have some friends on that side of town, and I go there rather frequently because Red Rock Casino, or not Red Rock Casino, Red Rock Canyon is over there. Uh, if you place a higher I mean, you'll have to drive, you get sick of every hike anyway, but if you placed a higher value on hiking, Summerlin might be a candidate. It's gonna be pricey, but it's a candidate because you're right by Red Rock Casino. You are very conveniently located to, Interstate Highway 95, which shoots out to the Mount Charleston area. But then if you wanna go hiking near Arizona, man, you gotta drive across, and there's my favorite hikes are over there, but Red Rock is Red Rock Canyon is a good time. But Summerlin, yeah, it's just there's a place called Tivoli Village. That's where the really, really cool people are. That's about the only place I think I've seen, like, youngish people, and I don't know if they come in from other places, but it's, yeah, Summerlin, I think it'd just be too old for you. Then there's South Summerlin on the other side of what is that? That's Charleston. Um, there's an area there in South Summerlin, they got the Summerlin Mall, and this is where the Aviators are. It's the AAA baseball team, kinda by the Red Rock Casino. So you find the Red Rock Casino, you go south of that, there's a outdoor mall area, and you go to the east of that, there's some condos and apartment building. There's some younger people hanging around there. Maybe you'd enjoy that. You go on the other side of 250. You go on the west side of 215, you better have millions of dollars. Maybe you go find yourself a cougary MILF sugar mama to take care of it, but yeah, that's where the ooh, look at those houses. Uh, then, yeah, your Spring Valley, that I'll tell you this, so well, let me finish Summerlin, we'll go back a little bit east. Yeah, down the roads, ranch and all that, it it's just a big old mall. There's a Walmart I know in there. Yeah, and then you're back down by Enterprise, and it's all bedroom community. Now, this is just me. If you like a little bit more blue collar stuff, there's an area. Go back to Interstate 15 along the strip, kind of dead center. West of that, you could kind of see Vegas evolve from 1960s to 1980s, 90s, and Westside Summerlin 2020s. There is a charm. It's not the nicest place in town. It's definitely blue collar. You're going to be dealing with a little bit more crime, but kind of South Valley View Boulevard and kind of anything. What is it? 592. That's Flamingo Road. I'd even say from the Orleans Hotel. Is that Tropicana? Yeah, Tropicana. So I'd say from Tropicana up to Summerlin Parkway. There's Buffalo. Yeah. So west of Rainbow. This would be if you're okay living in a slightly grimy area that has a little bit of charm. Little people who live there, what the fuck charm are you talking? Just hear me out. So north of Tropicana, east of Rainbow, south of Charleston, and west of the interstate, there's some neighbors in there, neighborhoods in there. There's some areas. You get a little bit closer to the interstate. There's some bad parts, no doubt, too. But I was like, oh, yeah, there's like these little neighborhoods, where they got these old, simple, small 1960s ranch houses, and kind of some of the neighborhoods tidy them up. You come in like, oh yeah, these people actually give a shit. There's like churches. You got the meander. Chinatown's right near close. That's a fun time. I wouldn't recommend living there. But yeah, it's kind of an interesting area. But what you're gonna find is a lot of it is just mass-produced house after mass-produced house after mass-produced house, which is I'm kinda leaning towards the east side, as I do. Uh, I definitely would check out Green Valley. Check out that area first. Henderson as well. You get a little bit avoid Eastern Avenue, get on the south side of 215. I like, what was it? Horizon Ridge Parkway. That's got some spectacular views of the city at night, the closer you get to Henderson. There is a downtown to Henderson. We might be neighbors. Yeah, and then it's just houses and houses and houses being built. So that's where I'd check it out. Another thing, while you come to town, I'm only going to mention it because maybe it's worth your cup of tea. Boulder City is quaint. Yeah, it is. It's not where all the action is, but it's a big enough town, and it ain't that far away from Vegas. If you want something more quiet and reserved, yet there is very much a downtown area to it. I would look at average age of people out there though before I check it out, but that's a very walkable town. Nowhere near the traffic. The traffic though in Vegas isn't that bad. I just scope it out and see if you fall in love with the place. If you're going to be on the east side, you might as well hop over the ridge and go over to Boulder City. See what you got there. So there you go. Link below is Reconnaissance Man. You want to figure out where to live in the United States. That's available on Amazon. Dre, $2 cap. He's too ahead of his time to get ahead of himself. Dre, 2 again. What's fun about hiking for you? Oh, how bad am I? How fucking bad am I? I didn't even go through all of his questions. All right. So you got that. Swim bike. Interested in knowing about any high quality paved and or dirt belt in Vegas is surrounding. I'm going to tell you this while you're there. Well, depends on what time of season you go. If you're going anytime during summer, you can't hike it. They shut it down. You have to do the gold spike trail. I always confuse it. Gold Strike Hot Springs Trail. You got to do that. That's a fun one. That's hiking. That's not That's no bikes. Um, Calico Basin. I love Calico Basin. That's a good hike around in there. The biking trails, you're gonna probably be more by Enterprise. They got biking trails that just I don't know them all. Like the date occasionally, work self gym, don't go to bars, spend a bunch of time. I prefer just ask girls out counter. 20 something women. Major traffic choke points. All right, let me make sure I got that. All right, the major traffic choke points. It's the intersection of Interstate 15 slash Interstate 11 slash 93 slash 95. So on the north side, immediate north side of Vegas, you could see is this that avoid that like the fucking plague. Another choke point is where 215 and Interstate 15 meet on the south end of town. That's because the airport is there, but it's not usually not that bad. There can be a choke point out by Henderson where, let me get it, 215, I believe, ends. If you go straight, you're going to go into Henderson, more or less, and you're going to miss the turnoff to Interstate 11. It's not, if you're a local, you know about it and you know it's coming up. You got to pay real close attention, north, south, east, west. Don't just go straight. They screw you up. But because there's so many tourists and people are stupid, that occasionally gets choke pointed, especially coming in from Boulder City on Interstate 11, trying to hook up to the 215 bypass. Oh, another thing. This is not every day. Californians, may they all rot in hell. They will come to Vegas Friday evening, Friday night. There will be a traffic jam all the way from Baker to downtown Las Vegas. Sunday afternoon, there's a traffic jam. All those cocksuckers heading out. Avoid Interstate 15 on the south side. Inbound Friday evening. Outbound Sunday. And then Eastern, I'd avoid that, and Rainbow. Vegas is a little different. They don't have as many bypasses or main thoroughfares, so some of their main streets get clogged pretty well. And you could just assume anything within a mile of both Interstate 15 that parallels the Vegas Boulevard and Vegas Boulevard, you could just assume that's going to be pretty bad traffic. Waste time. Commute. Any reference to anything you define as unusually fun, interesting, worthwhile to do in the area? Oh, yeah, plenty. So there's the petroglyph hikes. Anthem. Yeah, Anthem, you don't want to go there. It's a very, very wealthy and nice area, and there's nothing going on. There's nothing. They got a Walgreens. There you go. So I'd absolutely would do the petroglyph hike in Sloan Canyon. I like Black Peak or Black Mountain. That's near Anthem. My favorite hike is the Golden Strike hike that is down by the Hoover Dam. There's the Arizona Spring hike. That's fun too. That is by the Hoover Dam. Make sure you're okay with getting burned. There's some trails, actually some mountain biking trails by Clark County wetlands, and all the way out by Vegas, Las Vegas, Lake Las Vegas. There's some trails that you could bike out there. I don't really go to the north side. There's nothing there. Out of town, there's a ton of hikes. Bristlecone Peak is one of my favorites. Out by Mount Charleston. If you're in good enough shape to do Mount Charleston and Griffith Peak, you can get there. Red Rock Canyon. The problem is they're requiring a pass now to get in there, and you got to get on a waiting list and all that. Go Calico Basin. It's right next door. You can hike that. And then you can hike a bunch of trails to the south of Red Rock Canyon. South Oak, First Creek. What's the other one? There's Middle Oak. Yeah, North Oak. I remember that. Yeah, there's a lot of hiking in that southeast time or southwest area. And then the best thing, if you want the all best hike in Vegas, like the best hike, drive to Zion. It's only 2.5 hours away. That's what I would do there. So I've answered those questions. I feel sorry. What's fun about hiking for you? Rock hugging. No, I love being out by myself, listening to podcasts, tuning out, just getting exercise. I grew up in Wisconsin. There's no mountains there. And my old man got to work in Montana back in the day. And so we'd see these pictures, and mountains were like this foreign thing that we'd never see until I was damn well 30. And I am absolutely making up for lost time, and I love it. Love fucking hiking. Cappy, the rock hugging, power walking champion. Dre again, $2. How are blue collar areas considered ghetto? It's it's not. That's the thing. If you've been North Minneapolis, Southside Chicago, I lived in a place they called Ghettos in the Sky in Minneapolis. It's more officially called Riverside Plaza, and even that wasn't that bad at the time. But Southside Chicago. Yes, I remember our old man taking us through Detroit in 1984. Oh, that's the ghetto. I'll show you some trailer parks in Wyoming too. You're like, whoa, okay. But then there's some blue collar areas that kind of run down. And yeah, they're not as safe as like, say, your average suburb. But there's like these back in the day, before you had these big ass suburbs and you had bypasses, you would have communities, you would have neighborhoods. The houses were small, but people would keep the lawn in shape and the house in good shape. And then because, not everyone had 3 cars each, there usually you will find an intersection. You see this all the time in Chicago. There's an intersection where there would be the local shopping mart and maybe a bar and a movie theater and all that. If you look at gridded towns in the United States, because as the country grew and cars, you get grids. The further out west you get from the East Coast, you would see little. Right, it was all a grid, but if you went 3 blocks north and 5 blocks west, you'd have Pokerville. And if you went 2 blocks south and 4 blocks east, you'd have Wrigleyville. And there's some elements of that in that west side of Vegas because it was being built in the 60s and the 70s. Yeah, there's some parts where you're like, this is shit. This is run down. Don't live there. But then you turn the corner, also like, oh, they painted their house, and so did their neighbor. And oh, look, down here, there's a nice little bar, and down there's some restaurants, and there's a comic book store along the way over there. And you're like, oh, yeah. Dre, $2. Can you explain the fun of hiking? I don't get it. Well, try it, Dre. You're out there. I mean, I don't imagine you got a ton of social friends and all that. Just go do some hiking. Give it a shot. I think aside from the calm and the peace and the relaxation and living my childhood dream, I do like getting to the top of peaks or getting a view because it feels like you achieved something. Let's be honest, moving mouses and clicking spreadsheets, yelling at the internet, any kind of white collar work, mankind, that's not in their DNA yet. You just say, dang, I did a lot of Excel spreadsheets today. I've been busting my ass off on that stupid fucking, oh my God. Oh, I finally got the videos edited for the world's greatest accounting career course, Chad's course. Put that together. And Teachable was being a weapons grade quanta, haha. So it took me at least twice the amount of work I thought it would. That when I upload that, I finished it. I did a PowerPoint and recorded some shit. No, you climb a mountain, like when me and Chad made it to the top of Maggie's Outlook, it goes up like this, and you get to see the whole view. You're like, damn, it's a great view, and I did this. Give it a shot. See what happens. Dre, $5. Did you hear that women can now be arrested for not paying their bill at restaurants if they can't afford it and the guy refuses to pay for the food? No, Dre, email me that. I'd love to I'd love to read the article. Equality. Ass bucket, $2. A small house, super hypersonic re. He's a single guy, lots of money, makes good income. He doesn't need a big house. All right, there you go. I would say this: go to Jerry's Nugget on the immediate north side of Vegas. Go at like 10 a.m. when the homeless are still working off their paint hangover or whatever it is they shoot in their veins. Go check out Jerry's. Great food, great food. And then you're like, oh yeah. Dre again, $2. Chad course promo code Cuddle Wookums. Oh, I should do that. I should do Cuddle Wookums. That'll be out here pretty soon, by the way. Oh, and also, by the way, if you're interested, the minimalism course is open. That's available on Teachable. All right, that's it. Link to the stuff below. We'll see you guys later. Toodles.